All right, welcome everyone to season 2, episode 2 of Nerd Alert. Thanks again for joining us. If you're watching us for the first time on YouTube, we made it,
We are
and we're back
here,
for the
live
second
and
episode,
indirect.
live and direct on the second episode on YouTube. If you're listening to Spotify, Apple Music, Google, whatever you're listening to us, we appreciate you too. But check us out on YouTube. See our faces. We pretty, kind of, sort of.
Yeah, you can even watch us
Sometimes.
on Spotify. How mind blowing is that shit?
Oh, right. I even forgot about that. That is actually
Yeah, the video
awesome.
there's for that shit's dope. Yeah, but
Look,
thanks
you
again,
can look
guys,
at us
for
now.
tuning in once again. And as Serge said, you can finally see these handsome, beautiful faces of ours and just dive into the awesomeness. You're
Take it all,
welcome.
take it all in, take it all in.
Take it all in.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, N3RD underscore A13RT. Subscribe and like us on YouTube, please. Check out all our content on there. We're going to be updating it regularly. We'll start putting up trailers that will come across, our shows, obviously, and just any content we deem, relatable and fun and stuff we want to talk about is going to go on there. So check out our YouTube page. We're developing it. So still a little fresh, a little bit on there, but it's going to come along.
And the way to help us develop that, folks, is to leave those comments. Again, we appreciate the likes. We like the subscriptions, of course, but comment away on what you do like and do not like and what you want to see.
Yes.
We need that interaction.
Yes. And this week we got a few fun topics we're going to talk about. What are we talking about, Chico?
Oh, yes. This week we are talking about the highly anticipated Disney Plus show Boba Fett. We're also going to be touching base on the DC TV show Peacemaker. Serge finally caught up with Masters of the Universe, the Netflix animated series. Part 1 aired last year, and then part 2 actually I think originally aired at the end of the year as well. Either way, he finally caught up.
Was it that long ago? Damn, I'm slacking. So. Everyone slacking.
Yeah,
sorry.
We'll go over some random recommendations and hot topics and the news as usual. So we got a little bit of a little baggage for you guys.
And it's not clear if you haven't listened to us before. Spoilers.
Oh yeah,
spoilers.
That shit is on you if you continue and you're like, oh my god, you guys told me this shit. Nope.
And I get it. To be fair, Boba Fett did just air yesterday, but still, we are spoiling it. All right. So starting off with the hot Disney Plus show, their what 6th live action show, I believe 6th or 7th live action shows so far.
And this is what the second Star Wars property? No, third Star Wars property.
Well, second live action.
Yeah. Essentially, what this should have been called was guest starring Boba Fett. That's been my fun topic, and I feel like that's what it should have been called, in my honest opinion. Yeah, man, I liked the show, but wasn't just overwhelmingly yay. I don't know. This show felt very underwhelming to me. A lot of the Boba Fett that drew my attention was just the mystery behind the character. We only got him in a couple of actual movies. I know a lot of true Star Wars fans know more lore about him through the Clone Wars. But yeah, I was very underwhelmed by the show. It just didn't hit. The only parts that hit were a certain 3 episodes towards the end, which touch on here in a minute. But yeah, it was very lackluster. I mean, it was all right, but it wasn't my favorite thing to watch on television right now.
I felt the exact same way. I mean, it was something to watch. I didn't mind. If I had to watch it all at once, I might have actually given up on it prior to the best 3 episodes of the series, which were the final 3, 2 of which don't even have Boba Fett in it, right? It's just the Mandalorian.
Again, guest starring Boba Fett.
Yeah. And what's funny is when the show initially started, the first episode, I actually was totally on board for. I was digging it off the bat. And a lot of the reviews I was reading were like, oh, it's very slow. Like, I don't know where it's going. And I didn't get that. I found the first episode completely engaging. And I'm like, ooh, where's this going to go? This is really cool. And then the subsequent episodes kind of became slow, or I just didn't really care about the character, or honestly, not that I didn't care about him. I didn't understand his motivation, right? He was a bounty hunter. So for Mandalorian, you have this bounty hunter who gets a wrench thrown in his life with the form of Grogu, so now you understand why he does such a change, why there's such a huge character change for him. Because now he's taking care of like a kid, basically. He has a child now, but you don't have that for Boba Fett. It's just all of a sudden, sure, he meets the Sand People. and they like he goes with them, but I don't see the motivation of why he wanted to go to Tatooine, take over that town, and become like a man of the people. I didn't get any of his motivation. It didn't hit for me, so I could not relate to it, or not that I couldn't relate to it, I just didn't get it, and it wasn't all that fun to watch until you got the Mandalorian showing up.
Even at that, I think what it did was also water down the character, because you go into the show expecting this badass dude that we've gotten clips of in the past, and he gets his ass handed to him a couple of times, and he's just very, he's played by an older actor, but he carries on through the show like a just old dragon ass dude. Like he's being saved by people left and right. And I feel like even some of his highlighted moments are just very underwhelming. It was just weak sauce to me.
Yeah. The supporting characters were I want to see more Fennec Shaw. That final episode where she takes everybody out at the very last scene of the show. Dude. I'm like, give me more of that shit. Wow. Yeah. That was so dope.
So what I'm hearing here is you want a sub-series to the Power Ranger crew also, right?
No. I don't. That was episode 3 where they show up. That was cheese fest, like those motorbikes and all that whole action sequence where they're like chasing through the town was awful.
And it doesn't stop there. Anytime they're on the screen, they have like the cheesiest freaking moves. Like in the very last episode where the guy in the freaking overcoat, he does a little swirl. I'm like, oh, come on, dude.
It's so bad.
It was so terrible.
Bad. Yeah. But again, we did have, those 2 episodes that progressed the Mando story so far, which I thought was a little weird, because if let's say for some reason you're not into Boba Fett, you gave up on it, and then you love Mandalorian, you show up in season 3 of Mandalorian, he's back with Grogu, you're probably like, what the fuck happened? Like, how did this where did this
you're going through that recap like, what did I miss?
That shit, it was definitely weird, but I love those 2 episodes. I love that they expanded the lore on the lightsaber.
With that said,
my bad, again.
The best episodes were those last 3, because they showcased the Mandalorian, and I feel like we all felt he was going to be, I thought he was just going to have a small cameo, to be quite honest, but to give him a full, essentially 2 3/4 episode, because I mean he still was the predominant in the finale, but that first episode when they brought him back and we got some lore on the Darksaber and his showdown with the other big ass Mandalorian dude.
Yeah,
like all the lore that they brought. Dude, Bryce Dallas Howard directed the shit out of that episode. I loved every shot that she did. She did a fantastic job. And you go through it thinking or hoping you're going to get some Grogu, and you don't. I mean, just up front, you don't get any Grogu in that episode, but it's okay. The way that Mando handles that whole episode, and how they flesh out more of his faults, I knew him removing his helmet was going to backfire and come back and bite him at some point, and I was kind of happy that they addressed that. Him having to fight for his honor for the saber, and then just again, you already know he misses his kid, Grogu, but how deeply that attachment really is just, it was very powerful. And then from there, you go into the the second episode, which again, fucking fantastic. We see Grogu's being taught he can actually move around, starting to get these little words, and of course we get Luke. Dude, those episodes
CGI was way better this time than the last one for
Luke. We were talking about, so one of the running jokes that's been going on since the end of Mando was the terrible CGI. We've talked about it. The CGI was just trash. So of course, the internet being what it is, some dude on YouTube went back and deepfaked it and showed them what they could have done right. Freaking props to Disney and Lucasfilm. Yeah. They recruited this guy, and he actually went back and deepfaked all the freaking Luke Skywalker shit.
Oh shit, yeah. That's awesome. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
So they cleaned it up, and then the merge is, or the blending of the body, the voice acting, that's so much better. Is it perfect? No. Again, Mark Hamill's old, but they can only do so much with his voice.
Sure.
Older. But yeah, that was really cool. I understand the premise of the very end where they're like, you can either go Jedi or you can go Mando, kind of a dick move, like, we'll teach you, but you got to say fuck your dad.
They have to leave all attachments behind and all that stuff. So what I was a little bit disappointed was, I know we kind of had a bad conversation on this, but I wish they had more for Grogu to do. Also because I feel like every Jedi that they've shown us, like deep into, like with their training, starting with Luke, then going into Rey, they never finish their training, right? They always like get cut off in some way, and then they still end up being dope Jedis, right?
Yeah.
But why can we get that from Grogu? He was with Luke for at least a couple months at the very least, right? So why when he came back to fight at that last scene, or I mean to show up and be with Mando, you know, I was hoping he did more. Like he has some training, right? Yeah, he still did his little, you know, Jedi Force.
You were hoping for that full Yoda.
Not the full Yoda. And this is Geo Star, friend of the show, Geo. He was like, I was at least hoping he was dodging bullets by jumping around trying to escape, you know, like something. Give me show his no. But they did train him in jumping. He was doing it with Luke in the woods or whatever. So at least some of that, you know. So I was a little bummed that that didn't happen. But of course, Grogu cute as ever, and I'm still waiting for the Grogu chainmail to come out for as a pop that I can buy. So whenever that drops, 100% getting it. Can't wait.
And it's just funny how like as soon as Grogu just comes on the screen, they just able to capture like grown ass men, and we're just like, oh, that is fucking cute. But yeah, dude, I thoroughly enjoyed his training. I loved every little moment that they showed of him using the Force. Now he's not up until the last episode, he being able to use the Force thoroughly without passing the fuck out. But yeah, there was some very, very interesting. I always forget Rosario Dawson's character.
Ahsoka Tan. I think it is. Ahsoka. I believe so. Ahsoka, yeah.
It was cool seeing her come back and kind of bridge that together. The little line about, you know, I saw enough of Clone Wars where I saw that she was training under Darth, Anakin, and just when she kind of makes the comment, she's like, remind me a lot of your dad, was kind of an interesting little quote there.
And just as we're wrapping this up here, just the two things I just want to, that actually one thing that really pissed me off was I love Timothy Olyphant as an actor. I love his role. God, I forget the guy's name. What's the character name? If you can help me out with that.
I can't remember his name.
Okay. So anyway, that dude,
Marshall.
You know, the Marshall, let's call him the Marshall. Yeah. He's got a different name, but yeah, the Marshall. Why go and have the showdown with the fucking bounty hunter, that dude with the tubes coming out of his face, and have him get shot? Obviously gets shot in the shoulder, and then to have the post-credit scene where he shows up in the tank, right? Did you catch that? Did you stay for the post-credit of the final? So he's obviously survives. Like, why not just have him come in like ride in with the people in the town? Like, they should have just kept him alive for that final scene. I don't know why they couldn't. It was too, like when that so dumb. Was coming,
I thought he was going to just swoop in and just start fucking owning some shit, and he never showed up, and that was such a bummer.
He obviously was still alive there. I love, and again, the anytime that Ranker's on screen, I'm totally happy with. Like when he comes in riding that shit to fight those droids inside the defense bubble, I was super happy with.
You mean the Terminator sequence? Two Terminator sequence in this show. The first one was the wiping out of Grogu. What was it? We talked about this. It was the scene where they show the droids coming through and just plowing through everybody. It was the same episode, The Mandalorian, the one that Bryce Dallas Howard directed. There's a scene where they show a bunch of droids just clearing out the village.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
And it's a clear Terminator 2 homage. And even the droids at the very end reminded me of the Terminators in T3, if you remember that one. Like the battle tanks with the T-bar arms.
I don't know, barely, but to be fair, those droids have been in like, you know, episode 1, 2, and 3, like Obi-Wan Kenobi and they fought them in the past, so it's not completely out there. That I would say that's a complete ripoff. The other scene you're talking about did feel like a complete ripoff of Terminator, you're right? But this one, I kind of forgave it. But you got any final thoughts on Boba Fett as we're wrapping up this?
No, I mean, it's, if you want to watch it like in the background or just want to fill in the gaps, go for it. It's not a terrible show. It's just very slow. By no means. It's just it's I mean, it's mediocre, honestly.
Yeah.
Except for the last 3 episodes. If you want to skip all the episodes and just watch the last 3, do it. I recommend that. Like, you can jump into those without even really knowing anything. The recap unfortunately works against the show because you can catch up with skipping all those episodes with just that simple recap.
Yeah,
and you're good.
They go out of their way to waste 2 episodes on the whole backstory of the Sand People, but then it never comes back into play. Like, it just, I don't know, his character arc in this one, there was no real arc that we saw.
There wasn't. And even the ending was so anticlimactic. Okay, we're just going to circle around and cool, job well done.
Yeah.
Cool.
Like, they should have just kept him as a bounty hunter trying to regain his name. I felt like they should have just did that shit. Like,
or even just build a tribe or a clique of bounty hunters would have been cool. Because I like his entourage. The Dark Chewie from the comics.
Oh man, that was dope.
That dude was badass.
Yeah, he was badass.
Like that little clique of his would have been great as a sub story of him building out this little gang, but not like taking over the territory and all that shit. It was dumb. Yeah. Again.
Yeah. But I mean, if you're Star Wars completist, it's not a complete waste. I way more recommend Mandalorian. I way more recommend Bad Batch. Also, Bad Batch was fucking incredible. I don't think you ever got around to it.
I really need to catch up on both of those now.
Bad Batch was amazing, and there you see a better Boba Fett because you see you see kid Boba Fett. You know, like the Boba Fett from Episode 1, where he's still like the child, and he's fucking awesome in that. But yeah, everyone, check it out. Like I said, you spoiled the shit out of it, but check it out if you haven't seen it, if you made it this far, or don't. I mean, just if you're a Mandalorian fan, like Chico just said, watch the last episode 5 and 6, and I guess you didn't even need to watch 7 if you just want to know about Mandalorian.
I'd still say watch 7. I think if you're going to go ahead and bother with 5 and 6, definitely watch 7. It's not spectacular, but it does feel kind of complete that whole package and leads you into clearly season 3 of Mandalorian.
I know, I can't wait. This was like the best commercial for Mandalorian. I can't fucking wait,
dude. Okay, really quick. I know we're about to cut off, but like, the freaking Grogu at the very end, just tap. Listen to me, tap.
Yeah. The speed, then to get him to go to hyperdrive or hyperspeed. If you guys see me keep coughing, I just got over COVID. I tested negative, but the cough still refuses to go away, so it's super annoying. So keep going on mute. Sorry about that, everyone. It's super annoying. I didn't realize talking this much was gonna keep triggering these fucking coughs.
Aggravated, man.
So
going from to our Boba Fett, we're gonna jump into the Peacemaker, the DC property, brought to you directly from the Suicide Squad movie, the second one, the great one, not the first one, starring John Cena himself. And what a crazy fucking weird awesome show, dude. Awesome. I can't really even define what it is. I think the best definition for the show is just wacky. It's a fun, wacky ass show. I'm enjoying the shit out of it. Way more than I actually expected. Given we're James Gunn fans and given like I know what he's capable of, I don't know why. I still had a question mark whether he could actually pull this off. And damn, so good.
I think I was right along there with you. And again, everyone, spoilers on this. I've only seen the first 2 episodes. Chico's a little bit ahead, but we won't go past the first 2 episodes. I was in the same boat as you. I had a huge question mark because even though he was hilarious in a Suicide Squad, the Suicide Squad, they don't even call it Suicide Squad 2, but the Suicide Squad, he was great. He was hilarious. I'm like, he can't carry a show. And plus, he's such an non-irredeemable character, I thought, right? Like, he was so bad in that. He kills Rick Flag. He's such an asshole. He's fucking, he is racist. Like, he just is. And especially, like, in the show, they do talk more about that. But they pull this magic trick out where they make him likable and they go like he's fucking there's a full-on scene where I forget what song he's singing, but like right after he's has sex with the chick and he's in his underwear. Full-on music video for like 2.5 minutes of him singing in his underwear in his chick's apartment until she turns into that butterfly thing and starts attacking him, which was a pretty cool action sequence. But everything leading up to it was hilarious. Like the musical number just to start the show, the opening credit scene is like my favorite thing. Yes. Bro, when that shit happened, Christina and I looked at each other, we're like, is this shit happening right now? And there's a full-on musical for a second. And we're like, and it was fantastic. And what James Gunn, I mean, if you're a fan of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, you already know what he can do with music. But music is another character in this show, particularly. Like songs I've never heard of, but it just fits so well. A lot of 80s rock, but it's great shit that I never thought I would like. It was like, this whole I want to listen to the soundtrack afterwards because this shit's fucking awesome and it just fits the show perfectly.
He posted right afterwards on his Instagram and on his YouTube. Yeah, he posted a playlist right afterwards. It's like
nice.
Yeah, he always posts a playlist there. But yeah, I love how he integrates the music. It's right there with Edgar Wright. Like Edgar Wright does a great job of incorporating music. But
oh yeah, for sure.
Where he pulls these songs from, I don't know. But the worry was John Cena. He is funny. Could he carry a movie on his own or a show on his own? Yes, he definitely can. His supporting cast is awesome. I'm so happy like they brought back that original crew from the Suicide Squad. Great people. Freaking
the support staff
new addition,
from the
for the CIA. The new additions being Amanda Waller's daughter, She's great. She's got these subtle moments of heart and humor that just, I don't know, every time I have her on screen, it makes me laugh. Like she's got some great delivery. And they introduced Vigilante, who essentially he's not played the way the comics portray him. He's more of a Punisher like kind of character. Here he's kind of like a watered down Deadpool. I think you've met him by now, right?
I've just met him, but all he did was he catches John Cena crying in the bed after he's all like bummed. And
there's so many more moments that are going to come across. Like they've got this cool little duo going on. Fucking Robert Patrick as John Cena's dad.
Oh man, he's great.
It's just a great cast. And the storyline, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little worried about it because you really don't know where it was going. As entertaining as it was, it's paid off so far. It's been a great episode. You've got some stuff in store for you, man. It's
nice.
Honestly gotten better and better and better.
Yeah. Being on episode 2, I still don't know what the arc of the show is yet. Just so far, they're just trying to kind of redeem John Peacemaker in your eyes, right? Which they're doing a good job at. They have a lot of, and but I don't know, they just mentioned butterflies. Yeah, I still don't know what they are or what what they have to do. Or I don't know them from comics or anything like that.
Yeah, I'm not going to spoil that for you here, but it does start to make sense because as I mentioned, I was in the same boat. I didn't know, like I was having fun with the show, but I was like, where the fuck is this going? And I think in your next episode is where you actually start picking up the pace and start getting some traction, and it gets better. I think we've got the season finale tonight, or is that next week?
I thought the show finished already. I think it's done. Is
it done?
I believe so.
I think I might have one episode there. Oh, I guess I am on the season finale. Yep, I'm on the season finale.
I'm like 90% sure it's already done. Yeah. So like I said, the only reason I didn't get a chance to watch it, I was like quarantined for 8 days, but Christina likes it, so she wants to watch it together. I was been in my office watching a whole bunch of other shit for the last 8 days in quarantine, but that show so far, I love it. Can't wait to see more. We'll probably watch an episode tonight after we get off here, and just I highly recommend it.
Go ahead and wrap it up tonight.
Yeah.
Definitely recommend. That's definitely worth the watch. You will not be disappointed with it whatsoever. And just again, expect absolute craziness. I think that was our definition for the freaking Suicide Squad movie. It was just chaotic.
Yeah. But it's more of that. If you like the Suicide Squad, the type of humor it is, the pure ridiculousness of like, him like, yes. I'll suck a beach full of dicks or whatever he says in the movie. Like it's a lot of humor just like that, right? And it's fucking great. It works, and he's. And I think I questioned him before. I'm like, I don't know if I buy John Cena as an actor, like on certain roles, but this one he's nailing it, and just like I can't be.
If he sticks to these roles where they're humorous, like he's got action with heavy comedic tones.
Yeah,
done.
I
can't take him as a serious actor.
No, he was great in Trainwreck when he played like the boyfriend of Amy Schumer for a second, right? Wasn't she like he in that?
Oh yeah. But even that was comedic because he was.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He was great. He was great in that. But otherwise, I don't know. Like in the Fast and the Furious, no, like that shit didn't work at all. I saw it. Yeah, I saw it. But I think I'm done. I mean, this one I don't really have too much more to say, especially since I've only seen the first 2 episodes. I mean, you have any final thoughts on it?
Check it out. Great season. It's a great season. Highly recommend it.
I would say that over Boba Fett.
Oh yeah,
100%. 100%. Next up we have Motu Part 2. So I guess the first
Masters of the motherfucking universe. No big secret here. I grew up on it. I'm an 80s kid. This was like my bread and butter when I was little. So the first season, although it got a shit on a lot, I liked it. I don't know. I think sometimes when you step outside of the box of what your fans are expecting, it works. I personally thought it was a step in the right direction because they were developing so many background characters. And the complaint was that there wasn't a lot of He-Man. But the second half of this show, season 2, it just picked up the pace, and it was great, man. I loved every fucking episode. Loved it.
Yeah. So I was in that boat of, I didn't hate the first season. I just didn't love it, especially the art house it came from. I love Castlevania so much. So I was expecting, fight scenes in that vein. And we didn't get that so much. We got a very toned down version of like their style. And even because again, He-Man wasn't in it, so it was very human fight scenes and like some magic and stuff like that, and it wasn't like very over the top. But this second season, like it's just balls to the wall, and I'm mad I dragged my feet on it because like again, I didn't hate it, but I wasn't like super looking forward to it. And again, since I was quarantined, that was like best part about being quarantined. I caught up on shit that I wasn't, that I was kind of just dragging my feet on, and I'm just mad I did that because this second season balls to the wall action, and the fight scenes were everything I was hoping for and more. Like I had so much fun watching that shit. And
I really appreciate that they brought they kept to the mythos of the characters, but added so much depth to it at the same time. Again, action scenes were great. The best one clearly was the climax. You've got both factions just an all-out war.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel like at some points there were some sacrifices made on the animation. Some of it did come off weak at certain points. Like it came off too anime. And by that, I mean, like there are some anime studio houses where it looks just very cheap and quick. And I felt like there was a couple of parts in there, and maybe that more than likely that was intentional. But yeah, man, I loved it. I think I read that there's going to be another season from this, because I know that there's another Masters of the He-Man show, more kiddie based, currently running on there, which I haven't seen.
Okay, it's a live action one coming out too, right?
And then we got a live action one that's finally got greenlit because of these last two shows. That one was like in production hell.
And I think, and my issue with the first season, and even in the second season, like I generally speaking love Mark Hamill, right? Like I love him as a Joker. Yeah. I love him as Luke Skywalker. I kind of hated him as Skeletor. He kind of felt like a Joker knockoff, like just the voice and everything, the tone and all that. And also like he was like kind of overly silly, and I didn't like that about the first season. And the second season, they toned it down a bit, but then the fact that they got rid of him as the main villain and they put Evelyn, which I thought she kills it. And I fucking love, oh my God, I forgot her real name, but
Laura,
Cersei from Game of Thrones.
Laura, it's something. So Laura's something.
I'm not sure, but yeah. That story arc where she realizes how powerful she is, like she gives him the power and all that stuff, and she takes over. It's just super badass. Yeah, I enjoyed the shit out of it. That's another one.
You know what it is? I think we talked about it before. Is the reason he sounds like that? He basically blends his Joker with the original Skeletor. If you ever go back and watch one of those episodes, they're campy as shit, and they do not hold up whatsoever. But he was like super goofy in his voice. Watch the documentary or the behind the scenes that they have on Netflix. That actually gives you enough information. But I found like it was a decent blend of both of them. But knowing as much, how much we love the Joker and his Batman run, it's just, I think it's embedded in our heads where if we even hear a tone of it, it's like, oh,
I think so.
You disrespectful son of a bitch.
I think that's what it is. Yeah. And also I don't come with that baggage of, I don't remember the old one. Like I think
yeah. I show my age. I get
that the Arnold Schwarzenegger, that's He-Man, like the Master Union, that's him, right? That movie.
Dolph
that's
Lundgren.
No, that was Beastmaster, right? Well, what did Arnold Schwarzenegger play?
Oh my God, he was Conan.
Oh, am I confusing?
Arnold Schwarzenegger was Conan,
and Beastmaster.
Dolph Lundgren was He-Man.
Oh, damn, I don't even remember Dolph Lundgren.
Beastmaster was another.
Beastmaster was completely different. Yeah. I remember that, watching that on like
those movies. All of those, loved them. That was my whole fucking childhood right there.
But yeah, man, I hope that they continue with this. I mean, I know I've listened to a few Kevin Smith podcasts, and they're just kind of still in like a waiting pattern to hear if they're going to get picked up for. And I mean, the last time I heard about it was maybe 2-3 weeks ago, so I don't know if anything's changed since then. But I really hope Netflix picks it up, man. I feel like, Kevin Smith, I feel like a lot of baggage comes along with his name of like, oh, we're gonna get like silly, like pot humor, like childish humor or whatever. But you don't get that. You get hints of it here and there with some of the dialogue, especially with like the with some of the like minor villains, like that, like the henchmen. You'll get like some stupid, silly one-liners here and there that kind of feel out of place occasionally, but nothing that like ruins the show or anything like that. And it's just it's still.
But I think he pulls on those strings from the past. Like again, the original show is very tongue-in-cheek and just stupid, and the jokes are just terrible. But if you grew up in it, you appreciate it. But yeah, I'd recommend watching it all the way through. To your point, like if you watch the first half, it can be a little off-putting for you, but that second half really seals the deal for it. And I am hoping. I think the popularity of this one, the other animated series, plus the movie, should give him enough credit to keep that series alive.
I hope so. Yeah, man. And like I said, he's doing great as a showrunner. So Got another career path for him, I guess. Not just a podcaster with 17 different shows and a few movies that come out.
Does he
every
really
couple
have
of
17
years.
shows?
He's got a lot. He's got like a whole podcast network. He's got a ton of shows. Yeah, like I don't know if it's 17, but it's like 7 plus, like for sure.
Jesus.
Yeah. And then he still
How are you
puts out a
doing it,
movie
Kevin?
occasionally.
We can barely handle one show, man.
for
Come
real.
on the show and tell us. Teach us the ways.
He is like super responsive if you actually reach out to him on social media. It's like so much so that like kind of ruins his life sometimes, it feels like. But
oh gee.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to do that. I'm gonna have to hit him up. But yeah, we both I think we'll easily recommend that. Definitely worth the watch. Watch it all the way through, binge that shit. So and now we're
actually doing really good on time. So let's we're gonna touch this we're a little behind on this one, but I do Chico and I have kind of been holding off talking on it. I just know one simple thing that he didn't get through it, but the Matrix.
Oh, the Matrix
Resurrection or so
I took the blue pill. I said, fuck it, give me the blue pill.
How far did you get?
I got up until we link up with Jada Pinkett Smith's character.
Okay. So they're in that.
And then I just couldn't bear it. So what can we say about the Matrix? For me, and we've had side conversations with this, it felt like a slap in the face to true Matrix lovers in that it's essentially a pretty much scene for scene remake of the original and a watered down Cinemax version of it. Like that, it was just terrible. Like I felt the acting was choppy. The action scenes were terrible. The CGI was horrible. The story, again, all it was a rehash of the original.
The fact
I would have minded it was so much fucking boring.
That is true. So I'm on the same boat where I did give up on it, but it took me like 3 or 4 sittings to get through. I did eventually get through it, but I was upset that like not only is it like a shot for shot like redo of the first one, but they also keep reminding you like the whole it's so they're trying to be self-referential. Yeah, they're trying to be too meta. And like I can appreciate a certain amount of that, but it goes on for about an hour and 20 minutes, and the movie's like 2 hours and 10 minutes. But for like 90 minutes of the movie, they keep reminding you and they're keep being meta about it. And it's so annoying. Like it just completely stops working. Like, and they don't let up, which is
it's not just reference, folks. They're showing you footage from the first movie.
Yeah,
they playing scene for scene as this movie's going along, almost like a sidebar.
Yeah, it was extremely. So the story was extremely weak. The one thing that they did, which if it does get a sequel, so now I don't know if you're gonna bring this up in the news because we don't talk about that beforehand, but the WB was in partnership with like Village Roadshow to make this movie, right? Village Roadshow is suing WB now because of how it performed at the box office. So they were supposed to get like X amount of percentage at the box office, and it was supposed to be a 2022 release. So that thing where HBO does a simultaneous release of HBO Max and the theater was supposed to be over by the time Matrix came out. So it was supposed to be theatrical only, and then go to HBO Max after 6 weeks or whatever it was. But now there's this whole conflict now that Village Roadshow is suing them because that didn't happen. It did fucking batshit at the box office. It made like $0. I mean, that's not true, but it made very little money. And so now there's like a lawsuit going on. So I don't know what that means for future Matrix. And the reason I'm saying that, as much as I didn't like this first one, they did. I don't know if you made it there, but there was like this interesting piece of it, this little nugget of like, I want them to expand on this. And there was robots working with the humans inside the real world in Jada Pinkett's universe, like in the real world, right? So there was like synthetic robots that they kind of like what the new Morpheus was. Like Morpheus was a robot. He was
that's right. I remember.
But it's not just him. There's a lot of them, and they're helping. It's like these robots are helping the humans now because these conscious robots feel bad and want them. I don't know. They don't expand on it, but it was the one interesting nugget that I'm like, give me more of that. I want to know where that story goes. Like, why are they there? What's like? Show me that shit.
Familiar also. Where was there? I'm sure there's a handful of movies where the AI comes back. Terminator comes to mind.
Sure. Yeah.
But I don't know, man. It was just so boring. Like we tried watching it twice, and Maggie fell asleep like right off the bat. And I was like, no, I got this. I can watch this shit. And I was just like, but it was very disappointing. And I can't even blame age or anything on Keanu because he's done such a phenomenal job in the John Wick movies. But like that fight scene in the dojo, which again, another rehash, like the movements were so slow. It was like dodge,
but
dodge.
I'm gonna say I hate me if you want, but the first Matrix movie fight scenes were the best ones. Part 2 and 3, I felt exactly what you're describing. Those slow. I'm like, why did they do that? Like, give me the speeded up fucking fake shit because that's what made the first one cool. So I felt that way about those two as well. But yeah, man, I so by no means am I recommending this one, but if they do make a sequel, I need to know what's going on in the real world. Why is there robots helping them? Expand on that story and stop giving me try to be this fucking meta ridiculousness that they did with this last one. Because
my understanding is that this was supposed to split it off into a TV show, not another movie, or was it both? It could have been both. I think they were trying to do a segment of the property into television for HBO Max and some new movies was the original goal. Last I read, everything got canned. I didn't know any of that Sue backstory. That makes sense, but like
that just came out like yesterday or today. I just read the article, so that's like brand new.
But I think they interviewed Keanu not too long ago, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't think that's happening. I wish it was happening, but he's like, I don't think it's happening."
Yeah, I'm okay with that, But if they were to make another one, explain what's going on over there with that shit. Like, give me that storyline. Like, I want to know because that was like the little interesting part. I'm like, ooh, that's kind of cool. But no, they don't like expand on it at all. I have no idea why they're there. I don't even really understand how Morpheus is still a thing. Like, I don't. And again, and a couple weeks ago, I was fucking praising Yaya. Remember that shit? Yeah. I was just like, he like, we got the Watchmen, and even though I didn't care for Candyman all that much, I loved his performance. I thought he fucking
he did great in that movie, man. He emoted the shit out of that.
But in this Matrix bullshit, I don't know why he played the whole movie like
cheesy, campy.
Lawrence Fishburne had that little like smirk, like that little like he's having fun with it, but it wasn't overt. This was just completely overt, where he was like laughing at Keanu Reeves the whole time. I guess trying to be meta. It was fucking stupid, and it just,
I feel it also like disrespect or puts a stain on what you were supposed to get out of the Neo character. Neo is supposed to be this god-like creature, right? Yeah. They're Superman,
Jesus.
They're Jesus, and then it's all for nothing. I think that's where the disappointing part. It's all for nothing to go through those extents, and it's just like, all right, cool.
Yeah. All right. But,
I would not recommend it again. I can't even get past that first hour I got through.
Well, yeah, so that's enough of that one. We didn't even plan on talking about that. I just wanted to bring it up. So yeah, fuck Matrix, the Resurrections. Just first Matrix
on the recommendation list. So we did touch on that one. Quick recommendation that I made to Sergio earlier is Reacher on Amazon Prime. If you're looking for something to watch, they just released. It's 9 episodes long. I'm going to say, or was it 8? I can't remember. 8 or 9 episodes. Good old school freaking 90s. What's up?
It's all released already. It's done. Season?
Oh yeah, it was it was a drop.
Nice.
It's like the #1 stream show right now, apparently. But awesome. They already got greenlit for a second season. But it's like old school 80s action with some good mystery drama behind it as well. I don't want to like disdain that, but it's hella enjoyable. Like we were discussing on the side, if I were to have an option of watching Boba or Reacher, I definitely would jump the Reacher route. It's just such a fun show. Alan Richman from your favorite character, Hawk from Titans.
I was just gonna say that's why I'm dragging my feet on this show. I hate him.
Aquaman on Smallville, which hits home for us, and that comedy on Spike TV about the football players.
Blue Mountain State.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed the movies. I've always read that Tom Cruise was cast poorly because of he's supposed to be an imposing character in the books, and this dude just nails it. He nails the shit out of it, and it's just such a fun watch. Well, that's all I'm going to dive into it.
I guess
definitely worth it.
I just hate how I feel. If you've listened to this show and heard us talk about Titans, I fucking hate Dove and Hawk. I mean, I can't stand those characters. So, man, but I don't know. I'll give it a shot, I guess. Yeah, and like I said, I've been quarantined, so I've been watching a bunch of stuff. On the recommendation side, I got 2 specifically. I've got Hit Monkey on Hulu.
Oh, gotta watch that too.
Sorry, excuse me.
Yes.
You say you did see it or no?
No, I completely forgot about that fucking show. I was hyping it up from day one, and I completely forgot about it.
Yep, Jason Sudeikis plays like a hitman, and he's episode 1. He gets put on a job, and it kind of goes awry, and he gets lost in like some forest in Japan, and he has to get healed up by these bunch of monkeys, and like he just joins, like they just take him in because he's like hurt, and then one thing leads to another, and he now has a monkey protege, sort of. Like, I don't want to give anything away. I really don't want to spoil anything. And now this monkey protege just becomes like the fucking killer of killers, and it takes a story of like a person who loses everything and becomes a hitman. So it's a story you've heard a million times, right? Like every fucking, every story, like every hitman story it has that sort of kind of arc to it, but it kind of flips it on its head by making it a monkey and just show it does a familiar story in a completely new way. That's all I'll say. And it's funny. Jason Sudeikis is great as always. He has a lot of one-liners. The writing in it's like very smart and funny, and it has it does a couple cheesy things with like the anime aspect of it, where sometimes it's a little corny because they bring in like these other these ancillary characters later on in the show, but it still all works. I highly recommend it. Like I said, Hit Monkey, 10 episodes, like 22 minutes an episode. Definitely worth the watch.
Binge that tomorrow.
And then there's one other thing. It's on Hulu also, and it stars Mads Mikkelsen, and so it's actually why I watched it. It's called Riders for Justice, and it's a Danish movie, so it's all subtitled, and it's basically The Punisher, like a Danish version of The Punisher, basically. So it's not like he's not a superhero by any, so it's more like like grounded in reality, but basically like dude's wife gets killed and like a freak accident, or so he thinks, right? So his daughter survived, the wife dies, and then someone else that was on the train was like, hey, this wasn't an accident, this was a hit on the guy that was sitting next to her, and your wife just happened to be there. And he's like some guy that was supposed to testify, and like this was actually a hit, she was just collateral damage. And so he just starts fucking going after those people that apparently like took out that guy or whatever. So like I said, basically The Punisher, right? He just goes after because he's like an ex-military guy and all that stuff. It is so fucking good. And it's, sorry, everyone. It's good because the tone is very serious. So it's like almost like if The Punisher still had a daughter that was alive, and in like real time, she's like, what the fuck's going on, Dad? Like, what are you doing? But he's like this kind of straight-laced military man. So, and I guess it's like, I don't know anything about Danish people really, but a lot of the characters, they speak a lot in like statistics, like statistically speaking, like even when he's talking to his daughter and his daughter's talking
using numbers and shit.
They all use numbers to like reference everything. So I don't know if that's a Danish thing or not, but the movie has a lot of that, which is kind of weird, but I don't know. The movie just works. I think it's about an hour and 40 minutes. So it's not a super long slog to get through or anything like that if you don't like reading subtitles, but Mads Mikkelsen delivers. He's a great actor. And he has like his little team of, like The Punisher, especially the Thomas Jane version, has like the silly like men in the guys in the chair, like the people that live in that house that still like help him out, like the girl and then like the fat guy and the guy with all the piercings and shit. They kind of have a similar role here. Like there's like three guys that come and like help him out, like these nerds and shit. I loved it. It was such a good watch. Check it out. It's called Riders for Justice. It's a sleeper, 100% sleeper.
My only other recommendation I've got right now, again on the topic of movies, that I finally watched and I've been dying to watch for months, was Antlers, which is produced by Guillermo del Toro. And that's just it's a horror movie, but not the kind of horror movie you think it is, but totally gives you the vibes of what you would expect from a Del Toro, from the creature designs to the overall vibes. It's essentially surrounding like a Native American mythology. And honestly, if I say anything about it, it will spoil the movie, but it's such a great fucking suspenseful ride. I loved it. It's premiering on HBO Max on the 18th. So I think next week. That's 2 weeks from now. Yeah, next weekend. Not this weekend, but the weekend after. Nice. So you'll be able to catch it on there. Great watch. It's not too long of a movie, an hour and a half, I think, hour and 20 minutes, but it's
a horror movie,
watching
right?
A dark room. Huh?
The horror, right?
Yeah, but like creepy horror. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I'm gonna go ahead.
It's been on my radar. It's one of those movies that didn't show up on any like streaming services that I use. So and then you mentioned it's coming out in a couple weeks, so I'm like, I could just wait. I do want to see Nightmare Alley. I do love me some Guillermo, so I'll check that out too.
Yeah, that's on my watch list too, just because Guillermo del Toro is fucking awesomeness.
Well, yeah. And we haven't done this in a while, but I do want to just take 2 quick seconds to recommend a video game called Sifu. It's just super fun. It's like probably like $25-30. It's it's a little indie game, and You play like this kung fu master. Again, your dad gets murdered as a kid. When you're a kid, your dad gets murdered.
It really is a kung fu.
Yeah.
That's right on the nose. Okay,
100%. So yeah, your dad gets murdered in front of your eyes when you're a kid at his dojo, and you play as his character, gonna have to, get your honor, get revenge for your father, and you have to beat it. So the gimmick of the game is every time you die, you age.
Oh shit, that's cool.
So you start at 20 and you have to get through 5 levels, and every time, and you age exponentially. So you turn 21 after the first death, second death you turn 23, then you turn like 26, then you turn like 31, and so it's cool. So as you get like towards your prime in your 30s, you get older, your health goes up and your damage goes up. But then as you get like past 40, your health goes down, but your damage still gets stronger, right? So by the time you're like 70, you got like fucking one punch knockout power, but then your health, like you got a glass chin. Somebody fucking hits you.
Can you
once,
still like jump over like 7 people though? Like
yeah. You can still fight. That all that's just like the mechanics stay the same, like speed and everything, but it's cool. But then once you die at 70, that's it. You have to start the game all over again. So it's like very unforgiving and it's extremely hard. I've only been able to make it through 2 levels so far, and by the time I get to the third one, I fucking
shutting that shit
I
down.
die. Yeah, it's hard as fuck, but it's fun.
What would have been interesting on something like a concept like that is to actually age him down. So still powerful as fuck, but you're moving at a snail's pace. Like that would like a complete geriatric would have been fucking awesome.
But the amount of people you have to fight in this game, it'll probably make it like even harder than it already is. It is ridiculously hard. But all right, folks, with that, I think we're on. You got anything else? Any other recommendations?
Well, no, I was just going to touch on some quick news real quick. I don't know if you had an opportunity to check out our trailers or even bother with the trailers because I know how you are with them.
I apologize. I did not.
Okay. Well, here's the news. All right. So since our last podcast, we finally got our first look at the Oscar Isaac Moon Knight. I've described him before. It's one of my favorite characters. Essentially, is Batman with DID, dissociative identity disorder. And man, the clip alone, like that trailer is movie quality. I'm hoping and praying it's just a fraction of how good the trailer is. But yeah, I think any role that Oscar Isaac might have ever had questioned, redemption for X-Men Apocalypse or even his Star Wars run, dude, this is going to be great. It looks legit as fuck. And that's coming to us next month.
You know what's funny is that I didn't even. How long ago did you post that? Because I don't even. I did not see
January 17th, my friend.
my bad. I missed that one. Shit. But yeah,
it's 6 episodes long, but they're going to be like 45 minutes to an hour, I believe, each episode. So they're looking for quality versus quantity, which again we've talked about before. I'm up for it. Current run on Superman and Lois, they stuck to that format last year, and they're doing it again this year. Again, quick shout out. That show is still fucking great. If you're not watching Superman and Lois, watch it. Season 1 was phenomenal. Season 2 is still carrying that load, and it's fantastic. But yeah, looks like they're going to go with that format. I don't know. I'm super hyped for that show. Let's see. We also got. We talked about the Masters of the Universe. We had our first look at the Halo TV show. I don't have a big background on Halo, but the show looks kind of cool for a sci-fi show. It reminds me a lot of Starship Troopers. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it does remind me of Starship Troopers. I mean, I'll give it a watch. I know a lot of the Halo folks are hyped up about that shit.
I do like Halo. I grew up playing the games, but I don't remember like the lore all that much. It was a fun first person shooter. Right? I was just playing to kill a bunch of aliens. So
I didn't even know there was lore. I thought it was basic as shit, and apparently there's some deep.
Oh yeah. It goes deep for sure.
We also got some looks, actually pretty recently, a full first look at Lightyear, the Buzz Lightyear movie, which looks fucking phenomenal.
It does.
I don't know if you. Did you think we talked about the teaser? But did you watch the full trailer?
And I won't. I want to see it so bad that cool. I won't watch that. 100%.
Dude, the trailer alone, it looks like something new and different for Pixar. Like,
good.
The way they're taking the movie is very interesting. Like, it's. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to be able to. I have no lack of faith in them, but I'm very curious as to how they're making this happen. But it looks fucking great. The new trailer shows a little bit more than probably what you'll want to see, but enough to just be like, damn.
Yeah, I'm already like
And then today we got two trailers.
I'm with it.
We've got the full trailer for Jurassic Park Dominion, the final piece to the second trilogy. All the gang is back. We got freaking Grant,
Goldblum,
Malcolm,
Sam
and
Neill.
I forget her name. Yeah, all of them.
Laura
it looks great, man. The cinematography looks awesome. The action sequences that they highlighted look fucking great. Some of the dialogue and the gyps look really good. I'm hoping this redeems the second one. The second one was a little underwhelming. I think we agreed on that one.
It was a haunted house movie for some reason at the end. Like
it was all right.
It was all right. Yeah.
But I like the scope that they're taking this one. So that looks cool. And the one I'm really hyped about, and it's not for what you would expect, although it is led by Ryan Reynolds, is The Adam Project, which is coming to Netflix next month as well, which is giving me total like 80s time travel fun vibes. But essentially Ryan Reynolds is a time traveler, comes back to the past, visits his younger self and his parents, and there's a disruption to the time stream and it just goes a little haywire. It looks great. It's from the same crew that brought you Free Guy. So same director, same writers, same producers, giving you those retro vibes.
Is it, I've seen a teaser, but I didn't actually watch the trailer. I did see you post that earlier. Is it, does it have a comedic twist to it? It doesn't feel like no
comedic twist, but like a lot of those 80s movies had those jokes, a certain kind of comedic tone.
Yeah. Okay. But it's not a comedy.
No, it's like a family. It feels like a family action movie. I'd say, well, I can't even put it in with Free Guy because Free Guy was very comedic. Maybe,
but I'm glad. I don't need to see. Don't get me wrong. I love Ryan Reynolds being Ryan Reynolds and you all know what I mean by that, right? Like I do love that, but I don't need that. Like let's have him do something different. Like I'm glad. Like Free Guy was
great
like
cast
the ultimate
too, man.
Ryan Reynolds.
So yeah, Zoe Saldana is his girl. Zoe. His parents are Jennifer Garner and Mark Ruffalo.
Nice.
And just seeing all this interaction, which again, for all of you Marvelites, like this is a whole Marvel family. You got Elektra, the Hulk, and Gamora, and Deadpool in one movie. So you got the whole
Elektra,
fiasco there.
Really?
Yeah. That dude, I feel like that's going to be a good fun watch. And this one's only going to Netflix. I don't think it's going to theaters.
Yeah, I saw an article earlier today that it's like the most money they've spent on a movie to date. And I thought it would have been Red Notice just from salaries alone, right? You have fucking 3 megastars in that shit. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's other people who are stars too, but Ryan Reynolds is probably like the number one on that, on that one.
I actually would probably say that The Rock probably demanded more money than Ryan Reynolds. I feel like
no, I'm talking about for the Adam Project. Yeah, 100%.
Oh, okay,
yeah, 100%. I would say the same. 100%.
That's all I got on the news, man. We've got some stuff on the scopes, some things to look forward to. Some definitely fun watches on the rise.
Yeah, man. I can't wait for I can't fucking wait for Moon Knight. Like you had told me, you're like, Serge, you're gonna dig this shit. It's fucking it's Batman, but like with a twist. I'm like, all right, cool. So I haven't watched the trailer yet. Lightyear,
I watched like a dark supernatural like twist. And from what I've read, if it leads up to what I think it's gonna lead up to, there's a lot to be excited about.
Dude, and Pixar, they can't do wrong in my eyes, or they haven't done wrong in my eyes. I can't like. I guess Cars would be like the one miss that they've had. That's arguable.
I don't know why I can never get behind that movie. I could never get behind Cars.
I couldn't get behind Cars, but I love Pixar. So that's another one. Like, take my money. Like I have a child, so it makes it easier to watch. But I would watch it regardless.
I'm really intrigued of what kind of numbers they're going to pull because I don't think I've had a single conversation with anybody who is not hyped about Buzz Lightyear, not only for sentimental value, but just Chris Evans again, America's freaking what word am I looking for? Just a poster child boy.
Yeah. Their imagination is being captured. And it is because remember when I was 8, I think, or 7 when the first Toy Story came out. So like now they're coming out again, and now I have kids, so of course I'm bringing I'm just like I can't wait to show this to my kid, and she already loves Toy Story, so like I'm so hyped for it.
The vibes aren't giving me the Toy Story vibes.
No, but at least she knows the character though. No, I know, but and I'm fine with that. And just being that I already know Pixar can pull off an action movie with both Incredibles are fantastic. There's like incredible action sequences in both of them, even though the second one wasn't quite as good as the first one. And the first one is like my favorite superhero movie like of all time. Like that first one is freaking phenomenal. I love Incredibles. At least maybe superhero team up movie. But yeah, so I have complete faith they're gonna knock this shit out of the park. If action is, you said they're going with a different tone. I don't know what you meant by that because I didn't see it. So if it's like more action based, I'm hoping
like an action kind of show, kind of movie.
Yeah,
and like there's definitely some humorous parts that they showed in the trailer, some funny parts, but it definitely feels more of an action movie.
Shit, nice. Yeah, I'm excited for it. But yeah, man, I think that wraps the show. Right? Anything else?
No, that's all I got for this week.
All right, folks. Well, next week, so we did touch on a few things. So Superman and Lois, I am going to catch up to it. Chico's already up today. I'll be caught up by next week when we record. So we'll discuss that. We are going to do, I'm not sure if we're going to tie it into the same episode. We might do a special episode for this, but with the Oscars just releasing their nominations and all that, we don't care all that much for the Oscars, but I do have my favorite movies of 2021, and so does Chico. So we're gonna do a top 10 list of our favorite movies and our favorite TV shows.
Putting my thinking cap on. There's so many fucking movies. What is my favorite?
Top 10.
This is gonna be fun. Some decent homework.
Yeah, it's gonna be a homework episode. We're gonna have some homework, but we're gonna put a top 10 out next week also. So we're look forward to that, folks. But yeah, as always, thanks for joining us, and we love you. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, N3RD_A13RT on the gram, and send us an email this at N3RD_A13RT.info@gmail.com, and subscribe and comment on our YouTube page, please.
You know what, if you guys don't want to send the emails, comment. That's what we appreciate. Fine. Just comment away. Hit us with a comment on what you like, what you don't like, what you want to see, what we can work on. We're open for criticism. I'll cry later, but I want to hear it first. Just hit us with everything. We appreciate you tuning in and keeping this afloat. It's a fun project, and we're hoping, again, we can give you guys a little bit of light to your day.
Thanks, everyone. We love you.
Thank you.
Latest.
Deuce.